Hello, I'm Morris Kochanski, Wilderness Living Skills and Instructor. And I've been making a living at this sort of thing as outdoor educator and so on. I was involved with the military in many situations. I ran an Army Cadet Corps. At that time, I was able to get stuff like this in great quantity for use in our cadet programs, mainly because this can is already over 60 years old, and about 40 years ago the military already was feeling some of this was getting antiquated, and my nephew went to I think he went to some kind of antique store, and here was a carton of these, so he picked them up, and you might be interested to see what thinking went into this sort of means. This was produced for the RCAF, and they were using stuff. This is a click can, probably originally manufactured in the industry of canning a commonly available meat called click. And so they use the container. The wire to suspend this and to make a little mini pot was an afterthought. It looks kind of messy because it is an afterthought. And they included a can opener because when you have a can and the can opener is not available, it's very awkward to be able to get into the can. Of course, at the time, probably there was people didn't realize find a flat rock, and of course, the trouble is, you might not find a flat rock, especially sandstone. And if you just rubbed it, you would grind away the rim, and then that would come off. And actually, the lid that you could use would close better for the container. So here we have a conventional can opener, which is an afterthought, and here is a can that needs the key. So you figured you reduce this as a pot, so the key wasn't available to open it like you do a normal can to click, and can opener was included, which is a collector's item too. And generally these can openers produce a very nice spark for lighting fire with a flint and steel, the steel being a carbon steel. So now it says on here, open other end. So the way it's packed, it must, it's more convenient to empty the can. Food packet survival, RCAF, AFFP-3, eat no food on the first day of survival. Make this can last 3 days. This is supposed to be survival rations for 3 days. Following the directions, open the other end. We have the method of opening. Ooh, there was quite a release. The smell was quite antique. So I have to remove this. This type of can opener was produced during the Second World War, or maybe even the First, but a lot of people were impressed with its effectiveness in opening cans. Everybody in the Second World War was quite familiar. The field rations and so on, where a can had to be opened, was quite familiar with this opener. Some are half the size, and of course the long ones actually more leverage. I suppose this could have been a spoon on one end, or maybe even some other utensil, but we have one sort of edge there. I can remember more or less what's in here. I think there's one thing is fruitcake. Another are packets for making coffee and tea, things like that. So we're interested to see something that is over 60 years old. This was packaged 60 years ago. There's still one more. Got it there. So now you use this sideways, punch a hole here, punch a hole there, and you can use the wire to hang. Use the wire to hang stuff. So right off the bat, we find some jujubes or jelly type candy. Jelly candy is a source of water. For every gram of jelly candy, you get a gram of water. So it's a way of carrying water instead of having it in liquid form. I might have a challenge to dig this stuff out, I assume, from the... So this is supposed to last 3 days. Well, there we go with the... Now the 60-year-old a Christmas cake. Looks like Christmas cake. Probably it's got all kinds of vitamins added. In the cadet program, the kids absolutely loved getting a package, and the directions here are much the worse for wear with regard to the leakage. Eat no food on the first day of survival. Then make this contents of each can last 3 days. If water is scarce, drink none on the first day of survival. Sterilize all drinking water by boiling or by using water sterilizing tablets, which might be contained in here. Empty the contents of the can into the plastic bag provided in the seat pack. So the plastic bag is outside of the can. The empty can may be used for the preparation of soup, drinking water, and coffee. Eat slowly. Here's a packet of salt. We always, and then 40 years ago, we'd say there's 3 things that you sorely missed that really didn't cost very much. Salt was one of them, toilet paper, and matches. There now we have more jelly candy, and we have, so 60 years ago they already knew what do you call it? The big problem is of a 60-year-old material, getting it out of the bottom of the can. You could, in a survival situation, you might not be able to dig all this stuff out and you'd starve to death. So I need to be able to dig out at least one more jellied candy. Oh, there we are. So there's yet, that's 7. 8. I'll probably have to sample something like this. It's so old, I could die from eating something like that. This is cube sugar for my coffee, which I'll eventually. And Smarties were already invented, because there's some here. Soapy taste. Stuff so old that I'll be able to take a lot of this stuff and make a display board. The Smarties are packed in a little plastic bag. Some of this stuff is wedged in there on account of the leakage, and so as a result stuff doesn't the Smarties are giving me oops. Well, it might come out better because I broke the little bag. So 60-year-old Smarties. It's the only way I can remove them because they're wedged in. What's left in here? Oh, okay, there. Coffee. Dissolved contents in one of these cans to make a cup of coffee. More coffee. More coffee. We must have our coffee. There, finally the Smarties bag was, oh, there's a problem that it was taped. Chicken soup, and water sterilizing tablets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 water sterilizing tablets. And sugar, no cream, there's sugar for your coffee. So there is a sugar wrapped in paper for that. And there's 2 more of these. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 jellies. And there looks like there is a couple dozen Smarties. I don't dare try to sample the Christmas cake. That's the closest. This created the greatest amount of trouble. The leakage was from the ingredients of the breakdown of the Christmas cake. So there you go. What did we say? 3 days of rations. That probably psychologically more appropriate than actually helping maybe that much, but psychologically you might find the coffee, soup, Smarties, sugar, jelly candies, and Christmas cake.